By a show of hands, if you're courageous, who of you voted for our current county commissioners? 1 million for public awareness. Are you aware? That's $1 million for that. But wait till you see what the county's done. Mormons, the reddest of the red. Doesn't matter. This is destruction. You ready? Here we go. Down the rabbit hole. But what we're going to try to do tonight is take you on a journey, the COVID journey of spending. I want to just do the whole picture to try to encapsulate for you just how bad things are. So we're going to go on a fun but depressing journey tonight. Does that sound okay? Great. I'm really good at that. How do you feel about government lately? Fired up. But before we do some pointing at government, we'll be doing plenty of that. Notice on that old analogy with 3 fingers pointing back at you. By a show of hands, if you're courageous, who of you voted for our current county commissioners? Anybody dare?
I probably did. Some of them.
Our current county commissioners, who of you here voted for them? Okay. What about our city council people? Some people are brave here. I just want to let you know that their spending habits were evident and were going before COVID. But COVID was a magnifying glass. It allowed them to expand what was already there. And I'm not here to dog on anyone, but if we're going to dog on government, check yourself first. There's a reason they're in office. And I want to also share that I prayed and fasted about this topic because I wanted to know a glimpse from my Heavenly Father, do these people mean to do evil? Because what's being done is, the consequences are, pork we joke about, but it's very destructive. And I got a feeling that our local politicians really mean well. Bless their hearts. And we really need to bless them by removing them. And that's just the way it's got to be. This was a fun meme I found. The COVID milking. Milk that government-created virus. Now, I don't know what COVID is. I don't know if it's a plague that was testified of. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if government created in the lab. I don't know. People here have even said they experienced what they think is COVID. All I know is that the people with control and authority have milked it for everything it's worth. So whatever it is, I'm not going to debate you on that. Believe what you want. But Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, these people have taken so much from local businesses. And so that's all that I really care about is the money. I mean, we can judge people that are in office all we want. I don't know where they're going to end up. They might be in the celestial kingdom. I might be in outer darkness. It doesn't matter right now. What matters to me is that, the money, because that impacts my family. So we're going to start nationally and look at some of the numbers. U.S. government spending in 2020, $6.5 trillion. Stimulus spending, $2.6 trillion. The next stimulus proposal, did it pass? I think it was 1.9. And now all of your illustrious federal Republican politicians voted against it. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. Fiscal year 2020 ended in September 30th. It was a record year, but not in a good way. Spending jumped more than $2 trillion, or 47%. Now that's spending. What about the debt and the deficit? Let's go. COVID relief obligations are more than twice the annual federal government discretionary spending in 2019 and exceed 2019 revenue. They just added it on top of everything that was already there. Where did they get that money? Where did they get the money? Just created it. We are on the hook, well, they say we're on the hook to the bankers for that much more. Isn't that amazing? It's almost like they're sorcerers. Keep that word in mind for later. Okay, it's only getting worse. Here's some perspective. This represents a square $1 billion. This is the Statue of Liberty for scale. First COVID bailout bill was $8.3 billion, $2.25 billion the next one, and then $2.2 trillion. So we've done worse. another 483 billion, and then before the end of the year, 920 billion. Now we just got 1.9 trillion. Now, what happened right there, politically, nationally, right there? This is Republican-controlled Trump presidency. To me, it doesn't matter who's in the White House. In fact, I've seen some great things since Trump left, only because conservative states are like, we're done. But just know, Republicans, by and large, were completely on board with this. So it's not a dig. I mean, this is everybody. So really at the top, I think bankers and politicians are all the same. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters to us, but this is the actual results. So there I was, 2008, a lot more hair. First protest I ever held at the state capitol, more media there than actual protesters because the right, conservatives weren't really in the protesting vein like the left had been for 40 years, since the 60s. But there we were. I was talking about the Constitution. We were protesting a $700 billion bailout. But that's chump change because I heard an economist say, guess how much they're spending every day? Chump change. This was that big bailout we had President Bush then. So we were protesting a Republican president in 2008. We were really cool, I thought. But that's chump change now. This is the federal debt clock. A couple things. 28 trillion, we just hit it. These numbers don't really matter, by the way. What is a trillion? It might as well be a quadrillion, and I've heard that it might be off the books. U.S. total interest paid, $3.8 trillion. Total personal debt, $21 trillion. How do you ever get out of this system like this? Fiat currency, debt-based, we're all in debt. Mortgages, you know mortgage is Latin for death grip. Why are we all getting mortgages? We can't recover from this. I don't mean to be doom and gloom, but we will never solve this. In 2012, I was teaching a class in church. The Lord did inspire me to teach the members of that church class about Revelation 18. Do you know what that chapter is about? Now, Revelation is about the fall of economic Babylon and the sorcerers that created this. And they fall in 1 hour. Now, God's timeline is different than ours, but 1 hour is a lot shorter than 1 day creation. And so you can't get out of this. We can't solve this. We're doomed. And that's my presentation. Well, what else do you need to hear? We need to go burn something down. Okay, the reason that there is a point to this, community survival. Politics on the local level now, I think that inverted pyramid where we're so focused on the president has turned back up, Scalzon's pyramid. The most influence we have is on the people that are actually in our community, which serve in office. We need to survive. We're going to need each other. Community gardening, land, this stuff's going to come back. What was old is going to be new again. I have literally dozens of friends now that are homesteading. They're getting out of the school system, they're getting out of everything, because we can't solve this. This is sorcery. So let's get to the Utah state numbers, because surely in the most red state in the union, we must be the best, right? Conservative, yes. Well, no. The Deseret News, Utah to get stunning amount of money from coronavirus relief package. Now, if the progressives, the liberals at Des News are calling it stunning, they're probably right this time. It is stunning. They're even like, whoa, guys, that's enough drugs. Our 4 congressmen voted against the $1.9 trillion relief bill. Remember the 5 different relief packages with Republicans, by and large, were completely on board with this. It's good they showed up to the game. This is spending for 15 major COVID programs in Utah. This is what they report, $16 billion. That's what they report. Wait till you see what the county's done. National Conference on State Legislatures does a state-by-state breakdown of all of this. And you can select all these categories, healthcare, emergency relief, education, all that. But for Utah, I started looking at what was being spent. And here's just some things. $562 million to local governments. $25 million for broadband upgrades. $3 million for underserved multicultural communities. $1 million for public awareness. Are you aware? That's $1 million for that. But as you go through this, this is pandemic play money. Quick facts, they have this site called the Transparent Utah. This is vendors, third parties, they call them, that got money. $205 million is the only amount they have reported. They've spent far more than that. But basically, you see the top 3 categories: transactions not reported, provided, or applicable. That's almost $100 million, that's half of what's actually been reported by vendors. Now, they're including school districts. Look, you got Hurricane Valley Fire, 6th largest recipient. There's Tuacahn. 3 of the top spenders in the state are here in our county. But what is this? Not provided, not reported. Well, there's over 10,000 transactions there that have yet to be reported. Combination of people filing incorrectly, or they don't file to the end of the year, so they're not telling us. All right, your county gravy train. So you can go online as a municipality and apply for more money to this very day. It's on the governor's site. Are anybody here in the government? Get in on the gravy train. It's there. It's ready for you. You could just keep asking for it. Do a positive note. Travis was featured in an article, our local politician. Standard Examiner, he says, Utah received $1.2 billion in coronavirus aid. Travis Segmiller voted against the bill. End of quotes. Praise be to Travis. That's what we need. And he's taking heat for this kind of thing. It's not a fun experience up there. And he's a goat farmer. Goat farmers don't lie. I'm serious. I wish we had 104 state reps and senators that were goat farmers, because they would see through this crap. Travis does. All right, so here's an example of several $1 million was spent on the Stay Safe to Stay Open campaign. Now, if this guy was saying that, stay safe to stay open. You got to take the pledge or I can't protect you. You got to be a clean business. Take the freaking pledge. So if you go to directory, do a search, there are hundreds and hundreds of companies. Now, several businesses in Utah were fined for not following the mandates. Thousands of dollars. Is that fair? No. Well, they weren't on the directory. So this was literally government creating a program like a mafioso to pressure businesses. Who comes in and reports on those businesses who got fined? The best friends of government, the media. Well, we thought they were enemies because of Trump. No, it's all stagecraft. There was a wing shop in northern Utah on the news. They interviewed the lady and they keep pointing out she wouldn't abide the mandates.
Hard to tell an employee that their individual rights don't matter.
UOSH has cited 24 other businesses for pandemic violations.
This was a hit job to me, and many local companies are on there. I've looked them up. This isn't right. All right, so there's your boy, Brad Last. Brad Last is the key to all of this COVID spending. I had no idea. He's the bill sponsor. Supplemental budget balancing and coronavirus relief, beginning July 1st last year and ending June 30th this year. So we're under what he created, this monstrosity. There's the letter sent from the House to the Senate, Senate to the House. I'm like, did they even debate it? Or it just got sent, approved, done. We're in the money. This is a crime, in my opinion. You betrayed Utahns, you got to go. I'm serious, this is awful. It's atrocious. They cited like $150 billion in direct aid to state, local, and tribal governments. I think Utah's taken $150 billion. I heard 105. I don't know. Whipping boys. I know that's disrespectful, but Brad Wilson, Speaker of the House, Senate President Stuart Adams, and there's Gary. They held more sessions than in Utah history this past year. Gary Herbert passed at least 50 executive orders. Emergency declarations at least a dozen times. What does Utah law say about emergency declarations by the executive? I know someone here knows.
30 days, and then it can't, the legislature has to approve it.
She's saying 30 days, and then the legislature has to approve it. I'll extrapolate. And they can stop. The Utah law says that the legislature has to do a joint resolution, House and Senate, to either end it or extend it. That's the law. They let him fudge the law over and over. They allowed it to go on. And they did hold a session once and they made a little fuss about it. And then in this session they said, we're addressing executive power. Bullcrap, the law was in place. And these guys, 3 years ago, gave themselves constitutional power to call themselves into session anytime they want. They could have met the very day that he did his executive order, 1, 2, 3, 4, anytime.
And the House put together a resolution signed by the majority, and they still wouldn't convene.
The House put together a resolution signed by the majority, and they still wouldn't do it. I made another meme of these guys, but I thought I'd keep it classy. But they are. Like, this is ridiculous. These are Republicans. These are Republicans. All right, let's get to our county there. Look, I don't care if we grew up with these guys. I don't care if they're in your family. I don't care. Once you take the role of holding the gun of government, you're not to be trusted, according to Patrick Henry, who said, suspect anybody who approaches public liberty. Even anyone we recommend, the minute they get into office, watch them like a hawk. It's your duty. I had a 90-minute conversation with her one day talking about the removal of Dixie and Greater Zion and all this tourism money. We have water issues, and yet they're pumping millions and millions into tourism. I'm a very big opponent of Greater Zion. They get at least $500,000, from what I can see, a year to remove Dixie from the Dixie Center, the university. I disagree. Grand total, 30 million? Question mark? I'm not sure. I don't know. I searched and searched. I got a report saying up till the end of January they'd spent 10 million. But that's only if they cut the check. Then they count it, not if they've approved it or discussed it. The Spectrum had this really funny article, actually. Utah local governments to spend more than 30 million in coronavirus relief money. Here's the caveat: before the end of the year. With that deadline fast approaching, almost all of Washington County's local governments have told the state that they intend to spend all of the money remaining by the end of the year. 13 days, 30 million, no problem. We can spend it. However, St. George, they were going to send back $790K. But it didn't happen. It wasn't until a reporter from the Spectrum asked GOMB about a purported balance from St. George that the state even knew Washington County's largest city intended to return any of the funding. So there you go. So here's how it all breaks down by municipality. Of course, we've got Washington County. This is what the article showed. It's a lot of money. But there's the pig, St. George, 7.6 million. So there's all of your communities. Nobody's immune. But the biggest spenders are Hurricane Valley Fire, Tuacahn, and Washington County School District. I did try to get some commentary on what they spent the money on. How much do you think it was? How much can Hurricane Valley Fire Department need? Throw out a number.
Specifically to fight COVID?
Yeah. This is part of COVID money, all of this. So here are just some fun facts. Hurricane Valley Fire got $4 million, and I tried to talk with the chief today and find out what did you spend that on. Sent him an email. Tuacahn, almost $2 million. Might be more, though. This is what's been reported, and this is from Kim Hafen, the county auditor's books.
What does Tuacahn have to do with COVID?
What does anything have to do with COVID? Washington County School District, this is just a one-time ask. Zion National Park Forever project, that came through the county to Zion National Park, a federal. It's a program to raise awareness. Oh wait, but there's another one, Zion Natural History Association, to raise awareness about Zion. This is within less than a year. I mean, that's almost $250,000 right there. Yeah, Ken Garf. Executive shuttle is an interesting one, almost $400,000 that we know of. Lots of itemized expenses on the county auditor's report. I don't know.
Well, was the county helping businesses that weren't able to do anything?
Picking losers, winners?
Yeah.
So you had two choices then. She asked, is the county doing anything for businesses that couldn't do anything? Why'd they shut down?
Well, I'm just wondering if that's what they did with the money.
Well, you can claim that you couldn't make money. So that's the thing, who knows? But that's, the shuttle thing's interesting because the county's really intent on busing people to Zion. And they are the spearhead of Greater Zion, which is also behind getting rid of Dixie. It's really interesting how... You mean Stephen Wade, who helped get us $40 million on the hook for the DXATC center up on top of the hill? You know we're like $7 million responsible for that as local taxpayers. Look, and if you work there and if you work for these companies, I'm not going to tell you who to do business with. I'm sure I do business with some of these people. I've been to TUCON every year and about every production. But it's not right. We'll leave it at that. All right, Chamber of Commerce received a total of $157,000 that we know of for the Safe Southern Utah. So they make you fill out a medical form and make sure you're masked at Chamber of Commerce events. So I refused to go because I called the president and he just kind of downplayed it. I'm like, no, never. Kayenta Arts Foundation have a little theater. I love theater. But I watched this committee hearing where they asked the county commissioners for 72,000. They only got 60. That's all your rich retirees. So anyway, 3 of the top 20 spenders in Utah are in Washington County. All right, so here's a post. I actually got an interaction by IHC, which was funny. Thomas Dyches, stop taking money from the feds and end your partnership with the governor. Then maybe we'll believe you. I think it's a fair argument. Government and healthcare, that's been going for 120 years. It's terrible. Intermountain Healthcare, tons if business were given money via the CARES Act. And I said, yep, and they were just as wrong, stealing from our kids' future. You are unique, though, because you take the money and you facilitate the government's narratives in the media. How many advertorials have you seen for vaccines from KSL and all the others? Fox. I hadn't watched the news in months. In fact, I probably get my news from you on social media. I literally stopped. So 2 weeks ago, I was in a hotel and I turned on the news, KSL and Fox, and I watched it. And literally they said in one piece, and it was like 3 minutes long, it is very important to us that all Utahns can be vaccinated. I'm like, you're the media. Shut up. But then you see them run these specials about vaccination all the time. So here's what happens. This is my estimation. CARES Act money flows to the healthcare companies, and then that flows to the media companies who partner with them to do these fluff pieces to get you vaccinated and to keep the money flowing to the hospitals. It's quite devious. So that's why I said that these parties violate the agency of Utahns through the force of mandates via the health department. If you cut your ties with government force, then you would have credibility. If you want to vaccinate, go ahead. I've learned to stop trying to change people's minds on that. I'm opposed. You do that if you want, but just don't use government force in the process. How did we ever think that, well, so many things was the role of government? We don't trust them. Make fun of them. They're greedy, they're liars, they're evil, they're deceivers. Yet we go get shots from them. We put our kids in their school system. Hey, and we're all in it. We're all on Babylon's plantations. Yes?
I was just going to say, just this morning I got a notice on my phone that
On your phone? She got a notice on her phone that she could schedule vaccination from who? Guys, you're not going to believe this. While editing this video of me speaking about IHC sent me a text to schedule my vaccination. Unreal. Yeah, so...
I print those out and put them with all the masks I have on my wall.
Yeah, we're going to be having a mask burning really soon. We'll tell you about that before we're done. But to me, this is a really vicious cycle of sucking money from us. There was this guy named James Carville, a very big liberal progressive guy. He said it's the economy, stupid. And I say no, with government, it's the spending, stupid. This is the historic debt from 1900 to projected through 2050. Here's the pandemic. Here we are. We're almost at World War II levels. Who was president during World War II for 4 terms? But think about this. Regardless of who's president since 2000, it's an avalanche waiting to happen. What me worry? I just picked some random politicians from Utah. Representative Blake Moore said he voted against the bill because it does not provide targeted relief to areas of the economy hurting most from the pandemic. So he's not opposed to socialistic destruction of the entire country's economy and enslavement to the bankers. It's just got to be done right. Senator Mitt Romney. May God bless and keep him far away from us. Yes. Oy vey. This is how you know he's deceiving you. He's smart. I give him credit. They want this outcome. I don't think they're stupid, inept, greedy. Well, maybe they are a little bit, but they want to destroy the economy with phrases like this that tell you, We're going to ask the American people, they're not asking, they're a gun, right? Government's a gun. People to allow us to borrow money from China and others, pass that on to our kids and grandkids. He's diagnosed it. We're passing on debt to, okay, so then you would vote no, right? So we can send money to states like California and mine that don't need the money. Okay, whatever. Romney was among a group of GOP senators who unsuccessfully pushed for a relief package that was about half the size of $1.9 trillion. So just under $1 trillion. Whoa. But he knows debt on our kids and grandkids. To me, this is a betrayer. Obviously, he knows that debt's going to destroy the future generations. And obviously ticked somebody off and got punched in the eye. I don't know why. That doesn't matter either. Only matters what we do about it. It does matter in that sense. Here's Representative Bradley G. last. We in Utah plan for the worst and hope for the best. And because we do that, we have good options. And that's what we've done with this bill, and that's what we will continue to do going forward. He's just told you, we will continue to screw you over. And he thinks he's smarter than you. I've heard him. I've read his statements. He's hurricane. Since 2003. That's why I had you raise your hand in the beginning if you voted for Brad. Okay, remember this backdrop of the debt here. Here's John Curtis, conservative military guy. Regarding the latest COVID-19 relief bill, I definitely think it will be stimulative to the economy. I think it pushes us back to full employment. On the Titanic, wow. Like I said, you know, moving the chairs around on the deck. Yes?
So I have a question. Do you think these people are really stupid? They really have an ulterior motive? Or they just don't understand? Or what? I mean, it's hard to believe all these people are that evil.
I don't know what they are. I know that when you're at the federal level, you know better. I've heard Mitt Romney give speeches and I'm like, wow, you do know. You know. So give them credit. Don't assume it doesn't matter.
You don't stay in power that long if you're stupid.
No, they're good at a game, and yeah, there is some evil there in all of us. What constituency does he represent? Utah County, the Mormonest of the Mormons, the reddest of the red. Doesn't matter. Military, he'll put it on the banners and the ads. It doesn't matter what they did, who they're connected to, or if they're your brother. This is destruction. Is there a solution? Well, what you don't know is what we've been up to. Let's go back to a little reflection and how can you help us help you? We don't get paid to do this. We've not gotten paid. That's not why I spent hours preparing. We are a team. And I don't like to see the rich and powerful. You know what? It doesn't matter. Christ didn't like to see the people get robbed, did he? And this is robbery. Instead of being angry, accept that's the way the world has always worked. But people wake up and then they have to make different choices. Well, we're all sinners. So getting angry at them, let's just get them out of office and bless them as they leave. God's plan never fails. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. If you are pro-Christ, you're pro-Constitution automatically, right? We believe in divine providence, not all of this pork to save us. So the fact that we're in this situation shows that we've made something other than the Lord our God. All of us to a certain extent. It's a learning process though. Isn't this fun? We need to learn the importance of no. I put Utah's big. I get tired of the U.S. Constitution getting all the love. The phrase frequent recurrence to fundamental principles is necessary. I love that phrase. Like we have to go back to the principles. Hey, we already had a revolution, so why are we having another revolution? Because we're humans. And we forget that paper and words do not save us. You can have any politician wave the constitutional booklet around, it doesn't matter when you look at the numbers. What really matters is this word. The fact is we need politicians that say no. Like when Washington County Commission has a nice little lady come in and say, our theater, we need $72,000, COVID. Says, sorry, no, because I don't have that money to give you. That's the hard thing about being a politician. You have to say no to your colleagues, to the community, and you have to be willing to tick people off. What if you tick off Kayenta and you didn't give them the money? Are they rich enough to fund your opponent in the next election? Are they rich enough to put articles in the local media? Say things on social media? Affect your business? So what do you do then? Sorry, no. Sorry, not sorry, no. So we can say we want constitutionalists who love the Constitution. Yes, we want people who take the oath who understand what they're saying. And I think some of those politicians actually do understand it. Like, we need you to donate. I was thinking about this, and Mary Burkett, she took her last stimulus check and sent it back to the IRS, and they contacted her like, what the heck? You could give the money back. You could burn it. I would respect that. Or you could take it and donate it to us. Think about the irony, sweet, sweet irony. Give the money that the government stole from us and our families, put it back to us, and then we'll use it to unseat the people that agreed to all this. That's called irony. I love it. It would be funny. I would laugh. But someone we're vetting to take on, let's say, a state representative, actually asked this incumbent Republican who's been there forever, what would it take to beat you? Incumbent said, take about 24K. How many are in this room tonight? Now think of your neighborhood. How many around you are asleep or participating in this? But think about it, if we all donated $100 and we got enough people, 10 other people, we could actually oust senators, representatives, city council people. We could do it. It'd be fun to see. God's plan never fails. So whatever we do, if we make these holy sacrifices, things will work out okay. Things are not that bad. They're actually wonderful. But we need to fix the government. If you haven't signed up for our email, get on that list, because that's how you find out about things like this. Get the message out there. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you.